Dark Days event brings a troop that is automatically added to your army, as well as an epic piece of equipment for the Minion Prince. The event is for Town Hall 6 and above players, starting the 10th of June, lasting the entire month. Villagers have locked their loot in vaults. Let's say we make a deal to crack them open. My loyal debt collectors will join your army, no training needed. That's the troop I was referring to. They'll crack those vaults and loot twice as much as regular goblins. Our services aren't free, so throw any goblin cash you find to my wagon, and I'll give you mischief medals. Use them at the trader shop to get items. Sound like a plan, Chief? Now just sign here, here, and here. But after this tutorial, you can head to the event building. Here you will be able to claim some of the event currency. This is actually enough to unlock the limited edition troop in that of the debt collector. I'll explain exactly how this works after going over all of the rewards in the track. You progress through this by collecting goblin cash in multiplayer battles. These will be held within loot-based buildings, hence the debt collector might be able to help you out, and it does not matter what league you are in or how many stars you get. The amount of goblin cash available is the same for each attack. You just have to take down the buildings it is attached to. But usually with these events, as time goes on, the amount you can gain will scale up over so that you can complete it faster. You will require 16,000 of the goblin cash to get to the end of the reward track, but there is also a bonus track which requires 8,000 in order to complete. This will give you an extra 650 mischief medals. This means as a free-to-play player, you can get 3,750 mischief medals in total. This is alongside the decoration for the event, which is incorrect here in the dev build. I will flash up in editing the correct one, should we get that. But you'll also get 5,000 shiny ore, 400 glowy ore, and 3 mighty morsels. These are magic snacks, but thankfully you can activate them at different times, and the mighty morsel is great to test out the new Minion Prince equipment, which I'm going to explain in a bit. If you purchase the event pass though, not only will you get some goblin cash to get you started, you'll also get an extra 5,500 mischief medals, 600 glowy ore, but more importantly, 80 starry ore to upgrade your epic equipment. If you are purchasing the pass, you can support a creator beforehand by entering their code. My code is Judo, and it is much appreciated. You can also do this on the Supercell store to earn extra items such as gems, and obviously using code Judo over there is again very much appreciated. So by purchasing the pass, you boost your event medals from 3,750 to 9,250. Heading into the trader shop, this is where you can get the new epic equipment, the Dark Crown, but there are some older ones on offer as well. It really comes down to your town hall level and where you are at in terms of strategy as to which one you collect. The magic mirror and snake bracelet are available for gems in the trader shop right now, whereas the new Dark Crown would not be for a little while. There is a chance you could get some of the older ones out of chests as well, so usually my advice is to go with the newest piece of equipment, but if you're not really an air attacker, you like ground smash attacks for example, the magic mirror might be better for you. It really just comes down to what you prefer to use in your attacks. If you are an air attacker though, I think the Dark Crown will be really good as a set it and forget it piece of equipment as well, and like I said, that would tend to be my recommendation if you're going to get any of these pieces of equipment. Obviously, if you have purchased the event pass, you could get one of the other pieces of equipment as well, but otherwise I would go for ore. Starry ore is obviously very difficult to get. If you're less of an active player though, you might actually need glowy ore, as that can be a bit of a bottleneck as well. Essentially, depending on your town hall level, I would just spend the rest of your medals on the ore that you require the most. Only if you're one of the lower town hall levels for this event, so 9 through 11 or 12, you might want to consider the time-based magic items. Since ore isn't required as much at those lower levels, you tend to be able to cap off and upgrade your equipment quicker than higher levels. I would not recommend any of the runes, since you can just farm loot. Since books don't give you as good value at lower level, I would be going for either the builder potions or the research potions. Let's now go over the limited edition troop and the equipment for this event though, starting with the debt collector, as it's fairly easy to explain. Being a limited edition troop, it is automatically upgraded, so the level is based on your Town Hall level, beginning at Town Hall 9 and scaling up to Town Hall 17. Compared to a regular goblin, this has twice as many hit points, a little bit extra damage, however, it deals 4 times extra damage to resource buildings, whereas a regular goblin only deals 2 times extra damage to resource buildings, and also any loot that you steal using a debt collector will be doubled. Extra loot, 100%. So if there is a gold mine that has 50,000 loot and you use a debt collector to take that out, you will actually get 100,000 gold. They aren't that powerful, but due to getting twice the amount of loot, if you don't care about trophies and you're just farming mines and pumps on the outside of the base, then I would definitely recommend using them. Whilst they are half of the movement speed of a goblin due to carrying the chest on its back, they are also 4 extra housing space. However, whatever army you take into battle, even if you do not train up any debt collector troops, you will be given 10 of them extra into your army. Yes, even at Town Hall 17, if you have the maximum amount of troops built in your army, you'll just get an extra 10 debt collectors for free. Whether you want to actually use them to take down resource buildings, test for traps, absorb damage, whatever. They are extra troops in your army. Definitely going to spice things up when it comes to Legends League. It is a bit annoying that they're just added to your army like that. I think it's fun for the general player base, but even if you just use them as a tank before sending in your army, it's still going to boost your offense massively when it comes to that section of the game. However, it is what it is, and just know that being a limited edition troop, you cannot donate them to your clan castle. So you're not going to be able to send these inside any siege machines. And I also think it's important to clarify that even if you don't cook any of the debt collectors up and you're given 10, you actually still can. So they are worth 4 housing space if you want to take extra in your army. Let's shift across to the new epic equipment though, the Dark Crown for the Minion Prince. Taking a look at the stats, you can see the passive ability boosts health and damage a total of 3 times when allies are defeated. There is a bit of nuance when it comes to that as well though, and it's probably easy to explain alongside the stats. So being a passive ability, you can see at level 1, the maximum health increase is just 3%, and this is mirrored with the damage increase. Remember the description, it is boosted a total of 3 times. So each time it is boosted at level 1, 1 extra percent. And this is essentially when 60 housing space of allies is destroyed. So you actually need 180 housing space, whether it be troops, units that they spawn, etc., in order to get the boost up to the 3rd level. Basically, every 3 levels that you upgrade the Dark Crown, you get an extra 3% to both the health increase and the damage increase. Any levels in between these, you essentially just improve the hero boosts, which again, remember, is applied throughout the entire attack. Being an epic piece of equipment, once you get all of the way up to level 27, this is the maximum, and that is where you get 30% health increase and 30% damage increase. So after 60 housing space of units go down, you get a 10% increase to the Minion Prince. After 120, it goes up to 20%, and after 180, that goes up to the maximum of 30. So you can imagine how this works pretty well when it comes to dragon attacks. If you just have the Minion Prince at the back of your army, as the dragons are going down, he's increasing in damage and hit points every single time, meaning towards the end of the attack, that's when maybe it can make the difference. What is good about this being a passive ability is that you don't have to worry about the Dark Orb timing, for example. You can focus purely on the Dark Orb timing, and the Dark Crown is just happening all of the time. It's not like the active ability actually does anything. That's why when the Metal Pants was introduced, it wasn't really a good pairing alongside the Dark Orb, because you were basically trying to decide which one you would press the active ability for. It does mean that this piece of equipment is not useful early in the attack. For example, when we pair the Noble Iron and the Metal Pants to do a Minion Prince charge opener, Dark Crown just wouldn't give you that value because you require 180 units to go down before you've boosted the passive ability. And just to clarify, the range is unlimited as long as the Minion Prince is actually on the map. You can't recall him, have a bunch of troops go down, and then redeploy. That doesn't work. Now, there are a couple of things that do not count towards this, and that is units that have 0 troop capacity, that is siege machines. Any cloned units will not count. Any enemy defending clan castle troops obviously don't count, and the Minion Prince himself. Now, whilst that seems like it might be fairly obvious, if the Minion Prince went down and that were to like trigger the ability and you were to revive it, just know the Minion Prince doesn't count, but everything else does. And that does include any spawned units. So skeletons from a witch, big boy from the super witch, any Yeti mites, etc. They will all count towards the unit capacity for boosting the Dark Crown. Let me know what ideas you have for using the Dark Crown though, and be sure to subscribe so that you do see when I gem this equipment to max to take it into Clan Wars. In the meantime, YouTube has a recommended video on your screen. Enjoy the rest of your day.